Alright, here's a demo review of one of your guys' scrims on Payload Upward. This is a preseason scrim. So your demo is going for a suicide here. Usually, if you're gonna go for a suicide, it's best to maybe delay a few seconds so that your heavy or your soldier can get close enough to also suicide at the same time as you. That also allows your spy to get in position if you want to try to sync up a stab with your bomb. So that's something to think about. Usually you just don't want to jump in alone. Maybe 9 times out of 10 nothing will happen, it'll just sort of waste time. But here you guys are doing a good job of getting picks on their flank. Your flank was pushing up aggressively here. You guys move the cart up, that's all good. Med comes out. Then you just push up, trading Ubers. Your pyro probably should not have taken that Uber. Probably should have just only been you and then maybe the heavy being flashed as needed. Because having demo survive right there is really important. Another thing right there, your med most likely should have just played up here and gone down the tracks this way, sort of hugged the walls so they were safer. But they sort of rotated down to the cart tracks and then they got sniped. But regardless, you guys did a really good job of just clearing them out, totally destroying them. They're 3 up and you guys are doing a good job of taking ground. You got NG Scout on cart, that's all good. Right here, I think you're alone by the spawn. Usually you want to have more people pushed up. Looks like the pyro also wanted the cart when you already had ×3, which something that could be valuable is just have your NG come up and have your pyro push so that the NG's mini sentries can sort of help contain the people pushing. But right here, it's only their sniper just taking free shots, so you probably should have had your soldier bomb in a little sooner, but you're essentially just letting the sniper live for no reason, this kind of gifting kills to them. So moving up more aggressively and sort of fully committing to the spawn with more than just your demo would have been better there. But overall this round's been going well. Seems like you guys are just moving into the house a little bit slowly. Your soldier goes for a flank play there. It's usually better to sort of sync that peek by the soldier with pressuring forward with the combo. It's even Ubers here and you guys are just sort of bleeding players. I'm assuming they're going for picks to try to force, but after you guys are already down a few, you guys just come out and pop immediately, which is pretty bad. That'll just sort of leave you in this position and then they'll be able to use into you. Without your flank support to distract the combo or pinch them, you'll just get destroyed like what just happened. So usually you should just wait for your flank to respawn, and then your med's alone in house. Probably could have backed up much farther since pretty much everybody was dead. Usually to be pushing third here, you'll want to clear the soldier out from up here, take over this bridge area, and then sort of put pressure on the heavy holding top left. It'd be kind of hard to pick up on unless I guess you can see the beam, but since their med's holding up there, just sort of rotating to cart, just trying to pick the sniper and play cart could be good, because if their heals are not sort of actually committed by that corner here, pressuring them away from the cart would be easier than just fighting up through this choke here. So that's something to think about. If you're playing teams who just play like Gyros and have their med in that sort of elbow there, you can just try rotating to cart. Another good thing, if you kill their sniper, playing cart's very good. But working up through this choke here is pretty challenging unless you have some key picks. And since you picked off their flank, that's really good. Your pyro is pressuring them back, making sure they can't retake ground. And then you do a good job of walking up the choke and focusing that top left area, which is something you should always be doing. and then you also have a good job of like pressuring and taking over this bridge. Ideally, you would also have people more than just the scout pushing the cart, and just sort of hiding behind the cart and not peeking and just sort of spamming 3 damage shots across the map. Ideally, once you take this, exactly what your heavy's doing now, you want to take over this left house here. You'll usually pick off a few things in the side house and be able to pressure them well enough that they'll be encouraged to back up. Another good thing to do if you're just sort of in the stalemate right here is just sync up the spy, push in with you guys sort of peeking and spamming aggressively. Your spy makes a really good play, kills the NG and the gun, and then the demo, that's incredible. So right here you guys should really be getting aggressive, because you have plenty of kills and there's just a few people, their med's still committed, so this would be a really good time to just pressure them instead of sort of peeking one by one like that. So if you guys had just pushed up more aggressively there, you probably could have killed their med and just rolled on into last. So sort of similar problem as you were having on second is just not really committing as much as you could to pushing forward. So just try to think about hitting tab as much as possible and making sure you know who's up and having people in your team calming if they're ready to push or not, and then just try to have someone really take over and just get those aggressive pushes going forward. Here, this is something that's I really like doing. It's just pushing up these stairs, Ubering into them. Oftentimes you just want to walk up a little farther without popping and then just sort of 8-sticky them or whatever's peeking there, and you should be able to force them or pressure them enough that you can usually walk up pretty far before popping. Then ideally you'll just have your heavy sitting down here watching your back, and then he's able to come in from behind and sort of be at 300 plus after the Uber. And another really good thing is to have your soldier bomb up from lower up top at the same time as you guys Uber in. Right here you guys are just sort of playing by main with your medic, which can be pretty risky. Can be alright if you're just trying to go for picks or kill their sniper, but oftentimes it also opens you up to the spy decloaking behind, so this is a pretty risky spot where you guys are right now. Usually you always want to just be pressuring a staircase, taking lower, just doing something. It's usually better than just sort of sitting here and waiting to be sniped. It's pretty hard to counter snipe people because you don't know what level they're on. And then if your sniper dies, you just have to wait 15 seconds for him to get back, get buffed and ready to peek. So usually you just want to be trying to always pressure and work a different angle, see if you can get a pick. Usually our teams only have like the NG and the sniper by main, and they just sort of play defensively and body shot anything that really peeks out too far. Here you guys Uber in to the gun. Another good thing to try out on last is if you take over lower, you can have your soldier spam and kill the dispenser that's blocking the staircase, and then have your spy come in and sap the gun as you guys Uber. It's pretty simple if you just get everyone to calm down, focus, take over lower, get the spam out of the gun, and then have your spy go for the gun as your combo pushes. You sort of group up and can just sort of get everybody synced up lower. Here the heavy gets way more than you should, but you guys end up killing their combo, and you guys respawn faster, so trading is always good. But again, with their med down and you guys have numbers here, you guys should be looking to take over upper and just sort of get more picks and just keep pressuring them. But instead you guys sort of go back to main and your med runs across there, which is extremely risky. Usually you just want to walk up the staircase, because then you're a lot safer against the sniper, against pretty much every class really. And then once you take over up top, usually you want to try to get your spy into position to sap the gun, or have your soldier sneak through main and jump up top and then kill the engineer. It seems like right now you guys are sort of not really sure how you want to push it, and you're just sort of a disconnect between your combo and your flank's just sort of getting picked off when your combo wants to push, and then your combo's not ready to push when your flank's alive. So just try to sort of reset and just regroup when you're trying to push last. This can be a really big issue even at the highest level. People are just sort of disjointed on last. Just make sure you're staying focused. Oh, I love that heavy strat. Just eat the sandwich. It's something I do from time to time. But regardless, this is pretty aggressive by your medic. Probably should have just fell back instantly from the telly. Here with their men on the ground, it's followed by your soldiers going for a play. But in situations like this, you just want to try to regroup and get together a solid push instead of just aggressively peeking here and opening yourself up to picks. Their sniper's dead, so I guess it's fine to be doing this, but in general, you don't want to be peeking main or really playing main much as a combo. Oftentimes, the goal should just be to take over up top and just be pressuring them from different angles. But peeking main, you're in the low ground and you're just not really going to be able to accomplish anything. Just try to take upper or clear lower, but doing other things just gives you a big advantage. Here you guys just pop even Uber versus even Uber. I'm not really sure why, but in general, just straight trading Ubers into like a last point, it's not that good of an idea. You guys manage to get the flank from your soldier and kill their medic. Then you guys start re-pushing here. But without a spy to sap the gun, it's going to be super hard to kill it. And it doesn't look like there's even a dispenser here blocking. Just sort of they're all playing back here. So definitely just taking up top, getting your sniper in like a protected little angle you can snipe from, and then just being able to sort of walk all the way up here and then drop down right by their spawn. Your spy is going towards them. Hope you'll be able to get the sap down. You guys have numbers here, so just sort of having your soldier bomb up here, pressure the NG as the rest of your team floods in can be really good. Right now they're playing pretty spread out, so if you just sort of swarmed in and overwhelmed them, you could get kills, possibly cap. But now you guys finally decide to just walk up into up top and start pressuring them. With the way their combo's holding, none of these players are being healed, so if you just really focus on pressuring them down, like having your soldier come up top onto this platform and fight the NG is a really strong thing to do. But just sort of suiciding the cart doesn't really help a whole lot unless it's rolling back. So generally you want to have people spamming the gun to make it wrangle and then have your soldier go up there. Looks like they tried that, but just didn't work out. But overall on this last, it just sort of seems like the same issues are coming up. You guys are just sort of going in one at a time or in groups of two, but you just want to sort of regroup and make sure you have like a set idea of what you're going to be doing. So just regrouping and pushing together. Yeah, at this point it's just people going in alone, which is the biggest trap on upward last. Like, if you sort of break them offense as a defense, it's really hard to sort of start pushing again. Now they're even sort of regaining upper control and they have Uber advantage. The rest of the points are fine for the most part, but just sort of being more aggressive and capitalizing off the kills you get, and just sort of having a plan for last, I guess, would help you guys a lot. Just taking up or spamming the guns so they wrangle, and then having your soldier jump up top, kill the NG, and then you should be able to capture very easily. But it's not really a whole lot more to say. It's just the same one at a time sort of feeding play. Here they Uber solo on a heavy, that's very silly, and your pyro just kills him. And then they're mad. Now finally your soldier gets up top with your spy. That's something you guys should have been able to do like 5 minutes ago. But looks like you guys will get the cap. They're 2 up. And you do. Alright. 15-minute time. I think in a match in Season 12 it took DK maybe 14 minutes to cap last against GC in a match. That was pretty depressing. But it's more just sort of us struggling along to cap every single point. Let's see how you guys are setting up on defense. It's a pretty standard setup. Something you guys could try is running minis on first. I know a lot of NGs have started doing that because the spy is just realizing that sapping the gun is pretty good. Minis are proving to be more effective at holding first when the gun's so exposed like this. But anyways, you guys are doing good having your combo positioned aggressively. Sniper wins the duel, so that's pretty unfortunate. Here, you guys sort of back up because of one bonk scout, which didn't really need to do. If they'd pushed right then, it would have been pretty bad for you guys, but usually you just want to try to keep your positioning. Oftentimes, if you're heavy, it's more useful to just sort of be staying here and not sort of walking off to the side of the cart track, because you can cover a lot more when you're right here. And then if he was there, likely your med wouldn't have been forced. Here you've lost 3, so you just want to run for your life. Just buffing the NG. Your med sort of runs back in. It's kind of questionable, but you guys get out somehow. That's very good. Probably could have hightailed a little bit more, but you guys live. You guys doing a good job of not sort of just falling all the way back, but just keeping your positioning up. I'm not giving them free ground. In general, for the med, usually standing on this side's more risky than sort of playing behind the rocks or down here. Sniper's getting a lot of free shots there, but it seemed like your med was a little bit far back here because you have to stand pretty far back to avoid the sniper. But if you're standing in this sort of this spot or up here, you'll be closer to the demo, and then that push would have likely worked out a lot better if the demo had not been dropped. So overall, you guys are 3 down here, so it's mostly your flank, so the tunnel will be pretty weak. But it seems like you're getting pretty far forward as demo, and usually, unless your team's with you, you don't want to really push up that much. Just sort of stay back here and spam. And play the angles. Here you guys are doing a good job of spamming them, keeping contained in this elbow and forcing them as they come out. You guys have Uber here, or you guys are close, so you probably should have been calling that we're 90%, we're 85%, just fall back and we'll reuse into them. So that's something you guys should have sort of planned ahead for. That's a really big thing actually, like on Koth, on payload, on anything really. Like if you're close to Uber but you know they're going to be pushing, as long as you guys can back out, keep the demo scout and just most people alive, force them, and then you'll be able to instantly repush. Oftentimes it can work out in your favor because they'll be overextended and hurt in the post Uber, and then you'll be coming right back into them. Here you guys are just sort of playing with only your demo spamming, and then finally your heavy comes out to peek, but ideally you should have had more people peeking and fighting. Oftentimes it's better to have your med sort of out in this area healing your demo, because your demo spamming this is the main thing that's going to stop them. It also allows you to keep your sniper buffed and your flank buffed as they sort of patrol around the sides. Having your demo, your heavy and your med sort of clumped up here opens you up to being sniped from this like super passive angle back there. So generally you just want the heavies just sort of roaming free on the side, and then your med sort of blobbed up with everyone else watching this angle. You guys sort of had them blocked, and then looked like you guys fell back, then pushed back forward. Seems like there's like a big disconnect on what your combo wants to be doing here. So just try to make sure that people are calming what they're doing, and that if someone's calling, that the rest of your team's listening and actually following what's said. Because it seems like a few times demos died, we've had really bad Ubers. So just try to make sure people are aware of what the plan is. And there specifically, you guys sort of were just clumped up in this corner, and at that point, usually, unless you have Uber to sort of push back or you're able to still own this whole elbow, you just want to fall back to last and make sure you get a good last hold up. Looks like only a few of your players were up top, and your med goes down, and then their med actually goes down. That's quite interesting. But usually in this sort of situation, your heavy's got the right idea. NG's doing a great job just wrangling and causing them problems. But when it's sort of chaotic like this, just playing sort of back by the spawn and spamming the cart is usually the best thing to do until it sort of stabilizes. If the demo's spamming the cart, there's really nothing they can do. You guys are taking advantage of them not having any presence or taking over main. Seems like you guys are kind of slow crossing back and forth, and you sort of lingered there, and your med dies because it just sort of seemed confused on what you guys were doing. Were you going to cross slower and go up, or were you just going to walk with your main? Looked like you were going to cross your main and then just decided to go this way. Usually, if they're going up top, going lower is the safest bet. And then they had nobody by main, so just going like this would have been better than sort of walking out in the middle, because then you're peeking up top from every angle and main at the same time. So just trying to minimize the angles as you're peeking and stay safe on last, because anytime you die on payload, it puts the offense at the advantage because they spawn significantly faster. Here your med's just like alone, not healing anybody. So that's not ideal. Here, like, the demo's spamming, you guys should try to push up this side, fight the demo, and that also makes you out of the sniper sight line. But here you guys are just sort of sending your heavy alone to fight their combo, and also peeking their sniper, which is less than ideal. Good job on that post-over fight, cleaning up kills. Again, it just sort of seems like you guys need to regroup and just move upper or take lower, or just sort of regroup in general. Your flank has up top, demo's up there. You drop down, which is definitely not something you want to do, because dropping down is essentially just giving them the space for free and opening yourself up to die. And then just like a heavy walks up and gets the kill. This is interesting. Like, no matter like how long the time is, like, you can hold out last if you just get everyone on the same page. demo spammer in the cart. That's solid. Usually you can play more defensive as the demo spam in the cart. Like you can stand up here and spam pretty effectively, and then you're a little safer from spam. But all in all, it just seemed like you guys should try to focus on having your combos communication within itself, like between the meta and the demo and the heavy, sort of more on the same page, and then trying to sync up your combo and flank more, especially on offense, because it seemed like you guys wouldn't really know who should be doing what. But a lot of these things are just solved by scrimming and just sort of playing with each other for longer. And it's still the preseason, so a lot of these things will just sort of resolve themselves over time, but there's definitely a lot of like simple basic things that you guys can improve on and then be much better come match time.